Well, hello there, and welcome to this video on how to set up Metroid Dread Randomizer on a modded Switch. This video assumes that you already have your Switch modded, and at least have a basic understanding of how to use Atmosphere and Hecate. You should also have downloaded and installed Randovania, which is the front-end tool that generates the seeds and also patches the game files. If you don't yet have Randovania, you can find a link to that in the video description. It should not matter if you use the pre-compiled builds, or download the latest dev build from Git and run it from a virtual environment. Although do be aware that the dev builds may contain features that have not been fully tested or confirmed to not cause issues such as soft locks. I personally always use the dev builds and have only run into a few minor issues. The randomizer is still being developed, so don't expect it to be perfect until the developers say so. Okay, so the first thing you need to do before anything else is get a copy of the game files. This means you'll have to either dump your retail cartridge or extract the eShop package from a Switch. You'll also need a copy of the Switch emulator Ryujinx. Make sure you've set a game directory in the settings, which points to the location of your dumped game. If you've done this correctly, you should see Metroid Dread in the games list. Right-click the game and select Extract Data, then ROM-FS. It will ask for a location to extract the files. Create a new folder and rename it to something that makes sense. In my case, I'm using the first version of the game, which is version 1.0.0, so I've named the folder to Metroid Dread version 1.0.0. Make sure to select that new folder and then press the Extract button to begin the extraction process. After the extraction process completes, you should end up with a folder full of game files. You should select all the files and check properties to make sure the game was extracted properly. The total space taken up should be similar to what's shown on screen, about 4 GB. If everything seems correct so far, then we can move on to the next step. Boot up your modded Switch into Hecate and connect it to your computer with your USB-C cable. Now start up Randovania on your computer, go to the Games tab and then select Metroid Dread. Select the Play tab and then choose a preset. On a new install, only one preset will be available, and that's the starter preset. So for now, select that preset and then press the Generate button at the bottom to begin generating a random seed. This process usually doesn't take too long, but is entirely dependent on the speed of your computer. You'll be able to track the progress of the current seed generation at the bottom of the window. You might notice on certain seeds that the randomization logic seems to get caught in some sort of loop and never completes. If you spot this happening, rather than waiting for the randomizer to catch this, simply press the stop button and then try to generate the seed again. When the randomization process completes, the game details window will pop up. So the only thing left to do is copy the files across to your modded Switch and play. There's a few ways to do this, but the way I recommend is to boot into Hecate and put your Switch into USB mode so that you can access the SD card. If you go to the Tools page, and then select USB Tools, and finally, under USB Mass Storage, select SD card, which will mount the SD card on your computer, making it accessible. Now, because of the way the emulated system memory is set up, you'll see a request to format the unrecognized partition. Make sure to cancel this. This is very important. Select Export Game to show the game patching window. From here, choose your target platform, which for a modded Switch is Atmosphere. Press Select File to choose an input path, and choose the folder which you extracted the game files to earlier. And now the only thing left to do is select your mounted SD card. If you don't have any other removable drives connected to your computer, then your SD card is likely selected already, but you should check and make sure. If everything looks good, then you're ready to copy the game files to the SD card. Simply press the Accept button and wait for the process to complete. It shouldn't take more than a minute or two on most computers. Once this finishes, make sure to safely remove the SD card from your computer. You can find that in the system tray on the Safely Remove Hardware and Eject Media icon. Click this and select Eject UMS. And if you look on your Switch screen, you'll see it goes into sleep mode and then finally ejects the SD card. Press the Close button on your Switch and now load back into your custom firmware. So a quick recap of what you've just done. You dumped the game files for Metroid Dread using Ryujinx, generated a seed with Randovania, booted your modded Switch into Hecate, and used the USB mass storage to access the SD card, exported the randomized patched files, and then safely disconnected your SD card. After launching the game and waiting for a short while, you'll eventually see the title screen for Metroid Dread. If you look at the bottom of the title screen, you'll see the current version of Randovania and open-dread-rando, as well as the seed hash. Go into the file select screen as normal, and make sure to set up a new saved game, because trying to load an old save game will not work. The randomizer is smart enough to know that an old save won't be compatible, and if you attempt to load it, it'll kick you back to the title screen. So delete your old saved game, and create a new one. Select a difficulty mode. I recommend the easiest one available. Now, just wait for the game to load. Now, if you're playing a randomized version of Metroid Dread, I would hope that you understand the items are going to be in random locations, and there's always the possibility of reaching a room before you have the required item to complete the room. You may need to take another route to get to where you're going, use some minor glitches to get through, or simply backtrack and come back later. If you've not played through this game casually before, this is going to be a big challenge for you. I personally did not attempt the randomizer until I'd fully cleared the game twice, casually, and speedrun any percent no major glitches 20 times. And still, after all that, it took me about 10 runs to be fully comfortable with the randomizer. Now, I'm not trying to put you off randomizer because it is amazing, and at the time of recording this video, I've completed 45 runs, for a total of 120 hours. All I'm saying is it's difficult and you probably will get confused on more than one occasion. But don't worry, even if it takes you 5 hours to complete your first run, like it did when I first ran the randomizer, you'll eventually feel a great satisfaction when you finally beat Ravenbeak and escape. You'll drain the ship of its energy. We don't care. We gaming, Adam, we gaming. And I still feel this satisfaction after all the runs I've done. It's just that good, and I fully recommend it to anyone who likes Metroid Dread. But one final thought, even if you're good at Metroid Dread and you understand how to get from location A to location B, how do you keep track of everything? Oh, well, that's easy. You have an item tracker. Of course. You may have noticed one at the bottom of the screen on these clips that I've been showing while I've been talking. And that's a simple HTML tracker that I created using the icons extracted from open-dread-rando with an easy-to-use and stream-friendly graphic interface, which you can download from my GitHub page. The link for this is in the video description. So I think I've been talking for long enough now, and you hopefully understand what's required in order to set this up. All that's left now is for you to play the game and enjoy it. If you need any more help, or are curious about the development of Randovania, feel free to join the official Randovania Discord. Link is in the description. I hope you found this video helpful, and if you have, consider giving it a thumbs up. You've been watching Derek Deagle, also known as Desert Eagle Derek. See you next time.